Thank you all for being here tonight. I'm excited to have you all here. My name is Gib Shea. I'm one of our senior assistant directors of admissions here at HWS. So if you're from the five boroughs of New York City, if you're from Long Island, you've gotten plenty of emails from me over the past couple of months. I always joke that you're not going to get a million emails from me, but you are going to get a couple of thousands, and I know I followed up my end of the bargain with that. I'm not the special guest tonight. I have Shelly Basilio and Susan Pliner here tonight to talk about what the first year experience and what the next steps are for our ED students. Shelly Basilio Murray is our Associate Vice President of Campus Life and Dean of Student Support and Wellness. And Dr. Susan Pliner is our Associate Provost for Academic Faculty Affairs, Strategic Initiatives, and our Dean of Graduate Programs. We are more than happy to answer any questions as we go through. Feel free to throw them in the chat and then we'll get through them. If you have anything that pops in your mind, throw it in there so we don't forget. And then we can also answer any questions that you guys have at the end. Dr. Planner, Miss Vasilio, I'll pass it over to you.
Thank
Oh,
you.
thank you so much. We are so excited to have you join us tonight, and we want to get to your questions, but we want to give you kind of just a general idea of what you can expect moving forward. You guys are all so busy. Thank you, parents, for coming. You too can ask questions. I appreciate that. Um, so Shelly and I are partners. We work in different divisions of the college, but all of our divisions are here to support the students, and make your transition, as easy as possible, but also to provide you access to all the things that are going to, round out your, collegiate career at HWS. And so I'm on the academic affairs side of the house, and that means I work, to support you in your academics and support faculty. But I also oversee our first year seminar program that I want to talk a little bit about because that's um, one of the first things that you're going to get access to. And then, Shelley, why don't you introduce yourself and we can get into the
Yeah,
dates?
great. Well, I'm so delighted to be spending some time with everybody today. Thanks for having us and spending your night with us. As Gibb said, my name's Shelly Basilio. I work in the campus life office, and I have the distinct pleasure of thinking about the student experience from um, everything that's not related to academics or athletics. So if you're thinking about your housing, if you're thinking about orientation, joining clubs, Greek life, club sports, dining, counseling, wellness initiatives, those all fall under the campus life division. So between Susan and I think, and Gib, we should have you covered for pretty much all of your questions tonight. So we plan to just sort of give you a brief overview of what you can expect from the academic and sort of social campus life side, as early decision students, what's coming next. But we'll be sure, as Susan said, to leave plenty of time to answer all the questions that we can. We'll put our info in the chat before we leave at the end of the night as well. So if something comes up and you didn't have a chance to connect with us, we would be happy to connect via email or give you a call.
Great. So I'm going to show you really quickly. I'm going to share with you. Does everybody see the first year experience webpage?
Yep.
Okay, so you can find this. This is last year's, but this is a little teaser. On our first year experience website, you will be able to find, and again, it has not been updated yet for you all, but we're working on it. All the resources, your first year dean introductions, the timeline, when you can expect everything to happen. We're going to talk to you tonight about our first year seminars and their Spark projects. And then the rest of the information will tell you what that information is. But this is your one-stop shopping for your first year experience. And it'll be updated just for you. So I'm going to start first with our first year seminars, and I'm just going to, bring it up so you can see what I'm talking about. Um, Part of our, curriculum, is meeting, four perspectives and also completing a first year seminar. All first year students take a first year seminar. It is an academic course. It is 4 credit and it is required for graduation. Passing it is required for graduation. And it's not one course, it is um, uh, 34, 35 courses. And you will see, again, these are last year's, but you'll get a taste of what kinds of courses are offered as first year seminars. So the first year seminars are basically passion projects for our faculty. And so faculty from across the curriculum are teaching our first year seminars. They are not meant to be introductory courses to a major or a minor. They're meant to be for you to say, huh, that sounds super interesting. I never thought about that before. I don't know anything about that, or I want to know more about that. And you'll put that on your first year seminar list of choices. And so faculty construct the courses and pick subject matters. Like for instance, we had a chemistry professor teach a course on forensics. And did it through using mystery novels and setting up crime scenes for students to solve it, right? So it wasn't a chemistry course, but she had her chemistry background as part of the course. But they all have a common goal and common set of goals. And those are that the first year seminars are process-based writing and transition to college, getting you make sure that you know your resources, connected to upper class student resources, and building community. So one of the first things that you're going to do is that website will be up to date at the very beginning of March with all of your first year seminars. So for our ED1s, as soon as you deposit, you will have access in March, the beginning of March, to a form in your portal where you'll get to choose your preferences for your first year seminars. We ask you to pick your top 4, not in any particular order, just top 4. They'll show up alphabetical for us, but those are your top 4 choices. And then after that, it'll ask you to choose another 4 choices. And for our ED students, we give preference to our ED students for their first year seminar choices, but you have to complete the form by the deadline. So that we can place students in those first year seminars. So after you get placed in your first year seminars, I'm going to leave the talking about Spark to Shelley. But after that, we will let you know in May what your first year seminar is, and you're going to get a letter from your faculty member. And that letter will give you a whole bunch of instructions to sign up for an advising appointment with your faculty member. Advising is happening in June, from June 8th through June 20th, and you'll set a meeting time with your first year seminar faculty member who's your advisor or an advisor, and you'll talk about the rest of the classes that you want to take in your first semester, and you will complete a selection form of those classes. And you'll get to meet. It's a 45-minute Zoom call, one-on-one with your faculty member. You get to talk about what you're interested in, what you've been interested in, what you've done, what you want to do, etc. Or what you don't know that you want to do, which is also really exciting. And then we will place you in your courses and you'll get your course schedule in July. The timeline will be updated and you'll be able to see when all of these dates are, when you'll be notified, when things open, and when you can expect to find out your course schedules and your FSEM schedule, etc.
So embedded in those first year seminar courses are upper class student leaders to sort of help model appropriate expectations and also to serve as a liaison for you between you and your faculty, or just another person who's been at HWS, who's a sophomore, a junior, or a senior, to be able to say, hey, I can't find my faculty member's office, or I don't remember my post office number. Where do I find that? Um, and so we call those students first year mentors, and most first year seminars also have a writing colleague as well. Susan, do you want to talk a little bit about the difference there?
Yeah, sure. So our writing colleagues are upper class students that have been nominated by their faculty. If you are a writer and you like to work with others on your writing, you should make your first year seminar faculty or any of your faculty in your first semester know that you might be interested in becoming a writing colleague, and they'll nominate you for that position. Um, the Writing and Rhetoric program is our academic program. And so if you get accepted as a writing colleague, you will take a class with the faculty in Writing and Rhetoric, and they prepare you to work with your fellow students as a writing colleague. And then you're placed embedded into a classroom to work specifically with those students on the writing assignments that are assigned for that class. So the first year seminar, they're process-based writing, and what we mean by that is um, they're staged writing projects. Like you complete one part, you get feedback, you repeat you another part, you complete another part, you get more feedback, or you're reviewing and getting feedback on your drafts, and you're working with the writing colleague to do that, and then the faculty member, and sometimes peer workshops in your class. But the goal is to further develop at the college writing level within the first year seminar. Um, and so that's a writing colleague. A first year mentor is a student that is also nominated by faculty or also can apply to become a first year mentor. And typically they're applying in their first year after they've done their first year seminar because they loved their first year mentor so much that they're like, I want to do this and I want to be a support for the next incoming class of first year students. And then they're also placed, they are hired and trained by our Center for Teaching and Learning and our Centennial Center for Leadership. And they take a class during the semester that they're also they're embedded in the first year seminars, and it's a combination kind of student resource support class, but also a leadership class that counts for our leadership certificate and leadership with distinction, if that's something, graduating with leadership distinction, if that's something you're interested in. And then they're embedded. So that kind of team, writing colleagues, first year mentors, and the faculty members work together to support students in their writing, transition to college, their study skills, utilizing resources. And the first year mentors work throughout the semester kind of on important times and moments in the first semester to make sure you're prepared for those because you've never done it at HWS, so you don't know what's coming. But we make sure that you do. That's the
So
difference.
we have a lot, thank you. We have a lot of supports in place on the sort of social side or the campus life side as well to make sure that the transition is smooth, right? We know that leaving home for many of you, living with another person, taking college level classes, that's a lot of new things happening all at once. And we know that that can be stressful. And so we have been very intentional in thinking about your experience, hiring the best community assistants to be able to live on your floors and serve as resources and mentors, providing an orientation experience where you're able to meet other people. Yeah, from Southern California. Yeah, that's going to be a major shift for you. You're going to
Yes.
do great, and we'll make sure of it, right? That's the benefit of a small private liberal arts institution, right? We're going to know you. We're going to know Gil, and we're going to know Charles, and we're going to know you just from being on these Zooms, right? So when we see you on move-in day, Susan and I are going to be like, "Hey, so good to see you," right? um, you're going to have a whole community of people that will be caring about your success and your happiness, and trying to help you with that. And so that really starts with orientation from a campus life side, right? So over the summer, you'll get all sorts of information. You'll complete forms. You'll choose your classes. You'll have this awesome start of a relationship with a faculty advisor. And when you arrive on campus, we'll have upper class students available to move you in that day, which is awesome. And I love that everybody's putting their locations in the
I love
chat.
it.
Feel free to connect with each other and to use that chat while we're chatting. Um, and so we will, during orientation, we're going to have you in many different groups of students, right? So you'll be with folks who live on your floor, live in your building for some things. You'll be with your first year seminar folks. You'll be with your Spark folks so that you'll have many, many opportunities over those 4 days to make connections with faculty, with staff, and most importantly, with your peers. One way we do that is through our Spark program. So if you go back to that first year experience website, again, these are last year's listings around March 1st. Whenever the FSEM stuff is live, the Spark stuff will be live too. We're just finalizing the details of what Sparks will be offered for this coming year. This is not an academic experience. Spark is meant to spark a passion, to spark connections, if you will. And so this is a 2-day field trip-esque experience for students. These are led by faculty and staff members and are purely based upon your interests and a shared interest with your peers and the faculty member. So I don't want you choosing a Spark that is run by a chemistry professor if you think you're going to major in chemistry, right? I want you to pick fly fishing because you love to fish, right? So it's important that when you're choosing your Sparks, filling out that preference form, that you really are choosing things that interest you because you're going to spend 2 full days with 20 other HWS first year students and a faculty or staff doing something that you all love together. What a great way to build community. So, just to give you some examples, we have had hiking trips to the Adirondack Mountains. We've had trips to the alpaca farm where students like learned about wool and knitting and they made hats together. We've had one that was all about play in video games, and they went to the National Museum of Play in Rochester. Fly fishing, they literally spend 2 days on a boat together fishing in Seneca Lake. And my personal favorite is the cheese and ice cream tour around Seneca Lake, led by a faculty member. And so you'd spend 2 days going to all of these ice cream stands and all of these creameries and trying different cheeses and ice creams all around Seneca Lake, hanging out with 20 of your new besties who also love ice cream. So that's sort of how we get you started, yet is exciting. At HWS. And then from there, there's all the types of activities that you'd expect from an orientation, right? Lots of team builders, lots of opportunities to meet people, lots of opportunities to stay up way past mine and Susan's bedtimes,
Which
to really connect with your peers during orientation. During orientation, your first year seminar class will meet that week to sort of give you the opportunity to dip your feet in the academic water, right? To give you an opportunity to have your first college class out of the way before the official first day of classes. And we found that to be really helpful for students and a nice way to take some of the anxiety out of starting classes on that first day. Some of the first year seminar courses are part of LLCs or living learning communities. So when you're looking at that first year website, it's important to note which ones are and are not LLCs because it offers a different experience. Living learning communities are first year seminar courses that are taught right in the residence halls. So let's say you're in Susan's first year seminar course and she's a living learning community. Everyone in that course would live on the same floor, and that lounge space is sort of functional seating. So it could be a classroom during the day, lounge at night. And Susan would come right into that classroom on your floor to teach that class. Those LLCs also offer additional events and programming and opportunities to connect with the students and the faculty member outside of class time. So they all FSEMs are supportive. All advisors are really supportive and will offer you a lot of opportunities. A living learning community, I think, is just sort of the next level in support and engagement because your faculty member is coming to you in the residence hall. Um, but don't wear your PJs to class.
Definitely not. But um we did you want should we tell them a little teaser about the email we got today from a history professor?
Yeah, go ahead.
So, right now, the reason why your first year seminars are not posted on the website is faculty are busy designing them for you, and getting them approved by our committee that approves first year seminars. And one of our faculty members sent both Shelley and I an email because he's designing a course on Latin American food in Latin America, which will include cooking the Latin American food in the kitchen. So, most likely, he will be in an LLC. He will propose his course as an LLC. So, he'll be cooking in the residence halls with the students in the kitchen, most likely, probably in JPR. So that course will be an LLC. So I will say that sometimes students get a little nervous about like committing to an LLC. Um, and you can uh, uh, the LLC just means that you're going to be living in community, which you're going to be doing anyway, with your classmates in your first year seminar, not all classes, just your first year seminar, and that class takes place in the residence hall. It's really cool. I've taught an FSEM in the residence halls, and I loved it. You know, when we did registration, we brought breakfast in. It was great. It was awesome. So just something to think about. But you don't have to take an LLC, and you can take an LLC, and you can put a mixture of both in your list.
Yeah, I would say that it's more important to sort of look at the content of all of the FSEMs and to rank your preference based on the content of the FSEMs rather
Right.
than if they're living learning
Right.
communities, unless you have a really strong feeling one way or the other. But the experiences, our students have rated the FSEM experience very positively every semester. So it really is sort of a quintessential part of the HWS experience. And it's not necessarily a transition to college class, although there is
No.
some of that, right? Bringing in some resources and helping you get connected and offering a space for you to ask questions, but it really is content based.
Mhm. It's a full-on course.
Yeah.
There's a question about roommates. Do you want to talk about that, Shelley?
Yeah, totally. Everybody is always looking to talk about roommate stuff. So the question is, when I was researching when slash how students select or get paired with roommates, I read that the first year roommates are determined by their choice of first year seminars. Is that what the LLCs are about? So we do everything that we can to try and match you with your preferred roommate. The only time that doesn't work out is if you are dead set on being in a living learning community and your preferred roommate is also dead set on being in a living learning community and they're not located on the same floor. Other than that, we've been able to make, I would say, 90 to 95% of roommate pairs work. Because we do all of this by hand. You should know that we have, we could certainly put everything in an algorithm and walk away and have our summers back. But instead, we go through every single roommate pairing, every single first year seminar placement, every single course calendar, course schedule placement, because we want to be sure that we're providing you with the best experience possible. And so we do everything that we can to try to hit your preferences. Another question, typically do roommates room together. It kind of depends on the team and depends on what you're looking for. There are some teams that feel strongly about students living with other student athletes, and there are some students who are like, absolutely not. I want to play soccer, but I don't want to be only friends with soccer players. Please put me with someone else. So um, it's really dependent on the student. I will say um, that picking your roommate preferences is very important. So there are a couple of things you're going to have to do by the deadlines to really set yourself up for success. The first one is that first year seminar preference form, your Spark form, your roommate preference form, and your advisor meeting. I think those are probably the four most important deadlines. There will be other deadlines too, but those ones can really impact your experience. When you fill out that roommate preference form, that will be the questions like, are you a smoker or a non-smoker? Do you wake up early or late? Do you clean before your parents come? Right? How often do you do your laundry? Do not let your parents fill that form out for you. And if you're a parent on the line, when your child is filling out that preference form, please leave the room. Okay? We want them to be as honest as possible. And we know that sometimes students may have extracurriculars that you don't know about. That's important for us to know about to be able to place you appropriately with the roommate. And we do all of that by hand as well. And you'll get your housing placement when you get your course schedule, which is mid-July. Susan, I think we've covered everything. Should we open it up for questions or was
I think so.
okay,
Yeah,
cool.
absolutely. I mean, Shelley and I could keep talking at you for another 3 hours, but we understand that that's not good.
We do have one question about visiting campus. Come whenever. We're open 6 days a week in admissions, every day but Sunday for tours and info sessions. So whenever's convenient for you, feel free to come on by and roll out the red carpet for you. We do have a number of admit student days that are coming up, and that's what I really recommend. That's what I really prefer you attend now that you all have been admitted to HWS. They are, let me see, I have it right, February 28th, March 28th, April 4th, and April 18th. Those are our four admitted student days. When you come for admitted student days, you'll meet the president. He'll be present with a panel first, and he'll be around for lunch later. You do what's called HWS in first person, which is kind of like a little club fair and meeting with global education, study abroad, meeting with Shelley and her staff as well. There's also an academic fair as well. So you get to meet all the different professors, go over what would it be like if I studied history for a first year, or I'm thinking about majoring in biology. Can you tell me about that process? You'd also meet with admissions and financial aid there as
Hey.
well. And of course, we're going to give you a full tour of campus. On those days, we do special tours. We do full campus tour. If it's your first time on campus, probably recommend doing that. And then we also do visual arts tours and campus residence hall tours. So if you want to see all the campus residence halls and just that, that's something that we'll be able to accommodate too.
It's February 28th, March 28th, April
April 4th and
11th, April 4th,
I have it hidden behind me is the 11th and the 18th,
the
the
11th and 11th
second
and
and
18th.
the third Saturday of April.
I put the admitted students day link in the chat.
Great. Okay. What do you guys want to know?
Feel free to unmute or to put your questions in the chat.
This may seem like a silly question, but in general, for any deadlines and stuff like that, will we have to ch automatically like check our portals frequently, or can we expect an email to check our portals for deadlines?
You'll get
You
a billion emails about every deadline, and if you don't fill out your stuff, you'll start getting text messages. So we got
Oh
you.
wow. Okay, cool.
but because you're already on the screen or your parents are on the screen, we recommend meeting the deadlines. In particular, the deadlines for choosing your preference for your first year seminars. Because we do make those deadlines because then we start placing. And so if you're after the fact, um, You're after the fact. And also for your advising as well. When you get that letter, make sure that that you don't miss the email letter from your faculty member in May, later May, or beginning of June, and it will tell you how to sign up for your advising appointments with that particular faculty member. But it's all done through the portal. And then there's all the other, kind of tasks that you have to do, and there's deadlines for those as well. I don't think students have access to the portal yet. Is that correct, Gib?
They don't there you have access to your admitted student portal.
Yeah.
And that has your financial or has your admit letter, and it will have your financial aid letter within the next week or week and a half if you don't have it
Yeah.
already.
But the
Couple
onboarding
questions.
portal,
Not
not
the
yet.
onboarding portal. No.
Couple questions about residence halls. How big are the rooms? Um, they're standard. I mean, that's a hard question to answer. Every double room comes with two beds, two dressers, two desks, two desk chairs, two closets, and there's still plenty of room for all of the stuff and for people to be hanging out. We also have lounges on every floor in every first year area, and so there's a lot of community space, outside rooms as well. Can students select dorm preferences or is that selected for them freshman year? Great question. You will have the opportunity to share your preferences when you complete that housing preference form. In addition to asking questions about which buildings you prefer, we also provide a text box at the end where we want you to tell us anything we need to know about you. That would be a great place to put your building preference if you have one. Is it possible for a freshman to room with a transfer who is not a freshman? We would prefer not. It being a first year student is a unique experience, and we would want you living in a first year area where many transfer students are living with upper class students. But we recognize that everyone is different and everyone has different needs. And so I would recommend that you connect with me privately on that or that you shoot our housing office at housing@hws.edu an email if that's important to you, and we can certainly talk through some options. Are they furnished? They are furnished yes, they are furnished. You'll still need bedding and things like that, but all the furniture is there. What if you
Sh-
can't travel home for spring break, winter break? Can you stay on campus? What does that process look like? Yes, you can stay on campus for every break if you need to. And there's meal service during the majority of those breaks. Winter break is different. You can stay over the summer. There may be a fee for that if you are not working for an HWS specific office. I do recommend during your 4 years at HWS that you spend one summer at least in Geneva
oh,
um,
so good.
for an
Absolutely.
internship or a job or just to get really tan by the lake. I mean, Geneva is beautiful 12 months of the year, but the summer months are chef's kiss.
Chef's kiss. The other thing is, that is it Adia or Adia? How do you pronounce your name?
Adia.
Adia. Sorry about that. So Adia, I saw you nodding about biology. We have summer research opportunities. And we have a lot of research opportunities in the sciences. So faculty will hire students or select students for summer research, summer science research, and you stay on campus and you work with a faculty member in their lab. The summer researchers meet every Friday to talk about what they're researching, share their work. They present their work in the fall semester at a conference style poster session. It's a really cool opportunity. You get paid to do that research. You get the experience of doing it, and we provide housing as well. So housing
Yeah.
and dining. I mean, it's a very good deal, and you get to be here in the summer. which is super, super cool. You can do that as early as the first summer of your between your first year and your second year, and you can do it every summer. You can work in different labs with different people. And for those of you who are not interested in the sciences, but are interested in the humanities or the social sciences, we have faculty that also do summer research where you might be, in the library doing research on a particular historian or a particular area of time period or in the archives. There's lots of research opportunities. Um, the our art museum sometimes has summer researchers where they're cataloging because we have a minor in museum studies. So there's lots of opportunities for summer research, and those are paid positions. So it's really cool.
And does your financial, like if you get selected or are accepted into this one of those summer research programs, does your financial aid continue during the summer too?
You
No.
don't know because you're not paying HWS to come to school during the summer. We're paying you to stay and do research. So you
Oh,
don't need financial aid because we pay you to stay and
And
we pay
not
for
so
your
the
taking any
housing.
housing too?
courses.
It's not courses, it's work, it's research.
So the housing and the food. I'm
Mhm.
thinking of this from a money
Right.
perspective.
Yeah,
Yeah, everything,
yep.
it's all covered.
It's all
Wow,
covered and you get paid.
that's fantastic.
I know, right? It's really cool, right?
Any other
Oh, that
questions
project
for us?
has been so cool.
We will put our emails in the chat too, just in case.
I didn't mention, but I know there'll be another Zoom. There'll be another Zoom. There'll be multiple Zooms. I know Shelly and I will do a Zoom closer to the time where the deadlines are about first year seminars, and we'll talk only about first year seminars and selecting those. But I'm sure Disability Services will have a Zoom too. So if you're a student that identifies as having a disability and wants to know about that process and how it works at HWS, jump on that Zoom. Gib, what are some of the other Zooms coming up? Do you know?
Yes, we have Zooms every Tuesday, or most Tuesdays and Thursdays, starting, I'm going to say, I think in about 3 weeks, that are going to be open to all of you. So you're going to get emails a week to 2 weeks in advance saying, hey, this is the topic for this upcoming week. We think that you should join us. And that's just a good opportunity to get to know more about specific things. It could be about life as a student athlete on campus. It could be about certain individual academic programs as well. It could just be about getting to know a couple more students that are already on campus because you're going to be classmates with them anyway. So might as well get to know them before you even get to campus. Definitely keep an eye on your emails for all of that. Those are probably the best ways to get to know HWS beyond actually coming to it in mid-student day.
Right. Any last burning questions?
Awesome. Well, congratulations on being admitted to HWS. I was sharing with
Yay!
Susan and Shelley that I sat down for the past few weeks and all I've been doing is reading applications, which is fun. Um, and there were a lot of applications that were really speaking to us because of your academic achievements, your extracurricular involvements, what we think that you guys would bring to our campus and help us expand us as well. So congratulations on your mission to HWS. You all deserved it. It was an exceptionally competitive year for HWS. You guys should be very proud of your accomplishments.
Yay! We can't wait to meet you all in person, and help launch your college career.
Thank you, everyone. Have a
Thank
good
you.
night.
Have a good night. Bye,
Thank you
Please
all.
reach
everyone.
out if we can be helpful.